Brace Life Interactive session for week 5. We have come this far. We've done week 1 through week 2, 3, 4, and now week 5. And I know some of you have followed consistently till this time. And then thank you so much for everyone that have joined, that have contributed, that have done all of the things necessary for the Brace program. Well done, and thank you, everyone. So today we are looking at 2 different things. We have climate adaptation and livestock production, and we also have opportunities in climate smart agriculture adoption. So we have like a fully loaded program for today. So quickly, I want us to run through the agenda, and which is to introduction, the about AFC, and then today I've always promised people that I would show you an impact story, right? So today I want to fulfill that promise. I want us to look at 1 or 2 impact stories from the past Brace program, and then we'll be unveiling our top scholars and the speakers presentation. Today we have 2 wonderful personalities. We have Dr. Ibrahim, Yusuf, and then we have Charles Waweru. And after that, we're having the membership drive and the walkthrough. So quickly introduce yourself, tell us your name, your country, and your agribusiness. And you know the aim or the reason for this is to connect with other like-minded entrepreneurs within the program. So feel free to connect with other people you see in the comment section that are having the same business as yours, or that are like-minded entrepreneurs, like doing what you do as well. So please let us know your name, your country, and your agribusiness. Also, tell us how you feel today. It's week 5. We have just 1 more week to go. We have just the last week, which is going to be next week. And then we have come thus far. We did introduction in the first week, climate change and your agribusiness, and then we went to week 2 where we did production in adaptation and mitigation strategies for production. We went straight to week 3, which was processing, and then week 4, distribution, logistics and distribution. And here we have with opportunities in climate smart agriculture adoption. So really, I think for some of us that have followed consistently, we must have learned 1 or 2 things, or even learned so much more. So let us know how you feel with an emoji. So quickly, I want us to talk about African food chain makers. Some of you will just be reading it alongside me because of the consistency and how much you have heard this over the weeks. So really, at African food chain makers, we believe that small and medium-sized enterprises are the lifeblood of the food ecosystem in Africa. These enterprises are driven by visionary, dynamic, and innovative entrepreneurs who operate as primary producers, aggregators, processors, distributors, finance and technology providers, chefs, cooks, consultants, and innovators. We call these people change makers. So if you are in this call, you are a change maker. So these change makers are faced with the devastating impact of climate change, global and local risks and shocks, and macro and microeconomic challenges. These entrepreneurs need funding, they need training, visibility, market linkages, and a community of support to successfully scale their businesses. Through the African Food Chain Makers Hub, we enable African entrepreneurs to start and scale resilient and sustainable agribusinesses that nourish Africa and the world at large. How do we do this? We do this via community and data and support opportunities. We do this via visibility and recognition, then learning and training, which is one of the things that has made us assemble here. Brace program is actually one of the initiatives from learning and trainings. So quickly, I want to play one of the impacts video for us. I hope we can. So I'll check in the comment section if you all can hear, and then we'll continue. So please, if you can hear the video, the audio, please just put in the comment section that you can hear, so that I don't have to play it again. I just wanted to be sure that everyone can hear.
My name is Maniko Hilary in Mukosas County, Terego District, the Managing Director of Olube Agro
All right, thank you. I just wanted to be sure you can hear.
Before joining the BRESS program, my community and I faced significant climate challenges, including devastating floods and severe droughts that drastically reduced our agricultural productivity. One of our biggest issues was our heavy reliance on synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. We believed these chemicals were essential for boosting our agricultural yields, but we didn't realize the long-term environmental damage they were causing, such as soil degradation, water pollution, and a decline in biodiversity. I gained valuable insights from experts and learned about the harmful effects of these synthetic products. The program introduced us to more sustainable farming practices like integrated pest management and the use of organic fertilizers. These alternatives are not only better for environment, but they also enhance soil health, improve crop resilience, and help us achieve long-term sustainability. Since implementing these practices, we have observed significant changes. Our crops are healthier, and we have been able to reduce costs by moving away from expensive synthetic inputs. More importantly, we have become more conscious of our environmental impact, which is crucial for future of farming in our community. The positive impact of BRESS has empowered us to face future challenges with greater confidence. I am now committed to spreading this knowledge and promoting sustainable practices within my community. Thanks to BRESS, we are better prepared to protect our environment and secure a more resilient agricultural future. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story and for your ongoing support in building stronger and more resilient communities in Africa.
Hi everyone, my name is Cohort, a founding director of Willie's Avocado Farms. At Willie's Avocado Farms, we are dedicated at producing organic Hass avocados while maintaining the sustainable farming practices. BRESS's program has acted an instrumental tool in achieving these goals. BRESS's program, its innovation, risk management, as well as climate resilient practice has helped us to adapt to the environmental changes that is affecting the operations. Again, with the BRESS's program, we are currently going to implement an advanced technology in irrigation, which will help us to use, to decrease the volume of water being used. Again, with the BRESS's program, its focus in soil health, it is going to increase the crops yield as well as the better quality, which will benefit our customers as well as the community we are serving. We are grateful and proud to be part of this program, a program that focuses on resilient agriculture. Again, Willie's Avocado Farms is going to continue with this partnership with BRESS's programs. Any future program we would like to be part and parcel for it, simply because we are striving to be or to excel in this green field of farming. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, like I promised last week and even the week before the last, that we're going to be playing some of the videos from our participants. So the two people that just spoke of the videos you watched are actually past participants of the BRESS program, and they're just trying to share insights on all of the things that they have learned as entrepreneurs within the BRESS program. We actually have a very special announcement today, but yes, after the speaker's presentation, we'll give the announcements to everyone. So quickly, we want to celebrate our top scholars for week 4. Like we always do, you know that we celebrate our top scholars every week. So this week we have a number of people, and the interesting thing about this with top scholars is the diverse countries. Like there are just a whole lot of countries showing here, and it's so beautiful to see that we have top scholars from different countries, up to like 5 countries actually came top scholars this week. So the first, in no particular order, is Chineye Juliet Ejezie from Nigeria. Please, if you want to be a top scholar next week, maybe you should celebrate these ones in the comment section. Tell them congratulations, and if possible, give some virtual applause to them and just appreciate them in the comment section. So the first here is Chineye Juliet Ejezie from Nigeria. We have Moses Ocholoda from Nigeria as well. We have Dorothy Nakaliango. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name very well. From Uganda. We have John Idako from Nigeria. We have Frank Iskari Kanulu from Tanzania. We have Shidi Monke from South Africa. We have Salomon Uwimana from Rwanda, Jacqueline Macheso from Malawi. We have Chioneso Niyamukoroso from Zimbabwe. We have Asafu Chijere from Malawi, Victoria Kambiwa from Malawi. We have Patrick Makuranga from Malawi as well. We have Shepo Isaac Morudu from South Africa, Ishola Taiwo Joshua from Nigeria, Sabiru Abubakar from Nigeria, and we have Enoch Kubasu Ongo from Kenya. So congratulations to you all for being the top scholars for week 4. We hope to have our top scholars for week 5 next week. Congratulations, everyone. So please, if you see, we'll post, we'll share the link to the post of the top scholars in the group. Please kindly like, share, and comment on them. And then if you are a top scholar, I know you want to shout it to the world. You want to show everyone that you were a top scholar for the BRACE program. So please do post, do share, and even tag us. We'll share for you. Thank you so much. So quickly, we'll go to the speaker's presentation. And today we have our first speaker who will be speaking on the climate adaptation, livestock production. Is actually Dr. Ibrahim. So I know that if you have gone through the module 2 in the portal, you would have seen this face already, because he actually did one of the videos in the portal. So Dr. Ibrahim is an expert in livestock with over 8 years of experience. He's an environmental protection enthusiast and a climate smart agricultural advocate. Currently, he works as a livestock productivity improvement consultant on the Advancing Local Dairy Development Projects, HALDIN, at Sahel Consulting. In his role, he provides support on various fronts, such as social and behavioral change, strategic development, inclusive business models, IBM, stakeholder engagement, program management, and coordination. His primary objective is to drive innovative solutions that will enhance the productivity and livelihoods of smallholder dairy farmers across the country. He is passionate about international development and diplomacy, fragility management, and social cohesion. Prior to joining Sahel, Ibrahim worked with German Development Corporation, GIZ, Intersource Humanitarian Organization, NIM Foundation, and Jubilee Agrotech Limited. He worked on a number of donor-funded projects in the humanitarian development sphere, including the World Food Programme, BMGF, European Union, and German government, VMZ. Ibrahim is a registered veterinarian with the Veterinary Council of Nigeria, VCN. He has attended a number of professional courses and training, including cooperation in complex environment management adapted to the specific context with capacity works, steering competence with Lego Serious Play in Bonn, Germany in November 2022. He holds a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine and a Master of Veterinary Pharmacology and Toxicology from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. I just feel that this profile did not do justice to what Dr. Ibrahim has accomplished, but then let me leave it there for now. So please, let's welcome Dr. Ibrahim with a virtual applause in the comment section, or even with a welcome, a soft welcome in the comment section. Let's welcome Dr. Ibrahim to the virtual podium as I'll leave it for him. Dr. Ibrahim, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Confirm if you can hear me.
Loud and clear, I can hear you, Dr. Ibrahim.
Yeah, so it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for finding me worthy to be part of the facilitators for this interesting topic. I have a very short presentation, which will take me maybe just 5 minutes. I know most of the participants here have gone through the module. Is that true, Patient?
Yes, please, they have, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Please, can you just make me a co-host so that I can just share my screen?
Okay. Yes, 1 minute.
So we're all welcome. Before I start sharing my screen, and I hope you guys have gone through some of the modules on the portal. It's a very simple topic. I will want you all to stay back and make it as lively as possible. It's not a normal classroom presentation. I want a situation whereby we are all able to contribute to the discussion. I look forward to an interactive session with everyone, and I wish us all the best. So, Passion, are we good to go?
Yes, please, yes.
Okay. Give me a few minutes or seconds. I'm trying to pull out the
Hi, doctor. If you are speaking, we cannot hear you. Hello, doctor. You're now muted. I just want to be sure that you can still hear the room. Hello, doctor. Okay, so while we wait for doctor to sort maybe the issue from his end, we'll just quickly go to our membership drive. Say that. Oh yes, Mr. Charles, maybe we should go to our next speaker. Sorry, I can see that Mr. Charles is on the call. Mr. Charles, welcome, but please hold on a bit. Let me quickly read out your bio before you continue. Okay. Okay. So our next speaker is, is Charles Waweru. Is the head of carbon project development at Vast Carbon. So he serves as the head of carbon project development at Vast Carbon, which is dedicated to scaling Africa's participation in carbon markets. Vast Carbon was established to scale Africa's involvement in carbon markets, improving lives and livelihood across the continent. Such is achieved by unlocking climate finance and creating green jobs through our four main pillars, which is project financing, digital monitoring, reporting and verification, DMRV, community benefit sharing, and transparency. We pride ourselves on being both a technology provider in carbon market and a developer of carbon offset projects. Charles' journey is distinguished by a blend of rigorous academic discipline and practical expertise. Charles holds a degree in applied mathematics and is currently pursuing an MSc in environmental science. His academic pursuits are further complemented by PGDIP in GHG MRV, which is greenhouse gas measurement, reporting, and verification, deepening his expertise in the carbon markets. As an active carbon market specialist, Charles has an exceptional grasp of environmental regulatory frameworks and adeptness in navigating government relations within carbon markets. His skill sets extend across various methodologies utilized by leading carbon registries, including Article 6, Vera, Gold Standard, CDM, and Plan Vivo. Charles' interest in carbon projects are diverse, encompassing clean cooking practices in schools and households, blue carbon, livestock methane reduction, improved agricultural and management, electric mobility, and renewable energy. When not developing carbon markets, Charles is keen on knowledge sharing and capacity building in the carbon markets, and he has undertaken several grassroots national and international events. In addition, Charles is keen on driving initiatives to support governments in developing their carbon market activation plans. So with this, let us welcome Charles Waweru to the virtual stage as he takes us through opportunities that you can find in climate smart agriculture adoption. So Charles, good afternoon or good evening. I know it must be evening where you are. Good evening, Charles.
Good evening. I hope you can all hear me loud and clear. Just please confirm to me if you can hear me.
Yes, I
Also,
can
please
hear you.
confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen, Charles. Good afternoon or good evening, whichever way.
Actually, good evening here in Nairobi. I'm currently
okay.
based in Nairobi. Otherwise, it's always good to see my fellow brothers and sisters from across the continent. Of course, based on some time and history and culture, will have been in Nigeria and Ghana and all the interesting places within the continent. Otherwise, for today, as mentioned, I'm looking towards sharing some insights on the opportunities in climate smart agriculture adoption. And of course, here my primary goal will be to simply try and integrate some of the interesting things that most of you are doing. I think you are more better experts as agripreneurs or agriculture gentlemen and ladies. So mine is just to show you how we can connect some of the climate smart agricultural practices that you are doing in the local ground, and something I'm always very fond of talking about, which is the carbon market. And I hope that some of you, if not all of you, are already familiar with. Now, needless to say, when it comes to climate smart agriculture, we are simply talking about how can we integrate some of the interesting practices to make sure that the crops, the livestock we're trying to put within our farms are going to be more and more resilient as weather patterns and climatic patterns tend to change over time. Needless to say that I'm sure most of you over the last 2-3 years have been having some very interesting and very nasty weather patterns. So climate smart agriculture is all about what can you do to make sure that the next time there's going to be a drought or famine, then that you're not going to have too much challenges as a farmer. Now, some of these things you're already doing them. Maybe you just call it in a different way, but by the end of today's presentation, in the next 10 minutes, I'll have shown about 7 ways in which, or 7 examples of climate smart agricultural practices, and then bring it home and connect to what you call the carbon market ecosystem. And of course, I'll talk about it later. So when it comes to the main objective of CSA, allow me to just say CSA, that is climate smart agriculture. We're looking at 3 main pillars. In essence, we're looking at the first pillar, to increase the productivity, where basically we're saying that CSA seeks to sustainably increase agricultural productivity and the incomes from the crops, the livestock, and the fisheries without necessarily depleting natural resources. And of course, remember, natural resources are always finite. They're never there in unlimited amounts, it's always finite. So being able to use these resources in a cost-effective way is very, very important. The second main pillar or objective, or if you like, benefits of climate smart agriculture is that CSA helps you in the adaptation to climate change. Again, we know what happens when we are not fully planned with respect to making sure that you're prepared for a drought season. So with the CSA, it simply helps you to make sure that the little resources you have, for example, it could be water resources for the irrigation, the little that you have is being able to be used efficiently and effectively. So as the next time there is some, for example, there's some heavy rain season, you're able to water the dams to make sure you store the water for the dry season. Now, the third and most important to me anyway, areas or pillars or importance of CSA is in the mitigation of greenhouse gas emission. Now, from the explanations I'm going to be giving you, you'll be able to see and just think back and reflect from what you're doing, whether or not you've been able to notice that when you used to do certain normal agricultural practices, and then you transform to, let's say, for example, crop rotation or rotational grazing, you're able to notice certain changes within your farm. Now, those are the changes I'm talking about that I'm going to show you opportunities where we can quantify those changes, and of course, come into what we call the carbon market ecosystem and see, are you able to raise additional finance, what you call carbon finance, that when issued to you or given to you, you're able to use different activities within your farm. Now, needless to say, for those of you who have been able to try some CSA interventions, sometimes this becomes a bit too costly. For example, if you're used to irrigating your land with a diesel-powered generator, of course, there's a lot of emissions from the diesel, and maybe diesel is cheaper. But if you're looking at reducing your emissions, for example, you are looking at a case of whereby you are using a solar water pump to do the irrigation. Now, unfortunately, some of these solutions for CSA might be a bit too expensive, and you'll be seeing some of the people out there that are giving you solutions such as pay-go models and whatnot. So that one of the obvious challenges is, of course, high capital cost. Another challenge of climate smart agriculture is that you need to have an abundance of what you call climate intelligence to be able to get this data, analyze this data, and be able to do what you call climate models to plan for the future. For example, some of you have been able to get some of this data from the respective countries, then by now you know what is the likely going to be the next rainy season, flooded season, or dry season. So all these are information that might not be easy to come by with, depending on, again, where you are. Another third challenge I've seen when it comes to CSA is the cultural and social resistance. For example, I was in this community whereby I was talking about how we can do livestock manure management. It's simply saying using, animal waste as a source of energy. And of course, some of the community are saying, oh, the idea of using waste as something for cooking was not entirely palatable, if I can say so. But again, it's just a question of knowledge, taking through the community to understand this concept. So I'm sure there are some of the things you've been facing, and of course, through the BREST program, of course, African change makers, food change makers, you have been taken through a number of lessons in which how can you not only develop this or implement these CSA approaches, but also how can you overcome some of these challenges. Mine will be a small bit in terms of what you call the carbon finance. But for you to get there, we must have a frank discussion on some of the things that I'm going to be presenting. I'm so sure, I'm very, very sure that some of you have seen whereby you walk around the ecosystem and then you see a situation whereby somebody is a tea farmer, a coffee farmer, whether the large or small holder, especially the coffee farmers, and then they are what you call these shade trees that are being grown next to the coffee bushes, for example. Or, for example, somebody is very keen on putting something like, let's say, avocado next to another typical tree. So basically, what you're saying is that agroforestry is whereby you're taking your typical cash crop or food crop that is your focus, and then you're planting trees within the farm. That is agroforestry. And of course, the benefits are a number. One, you're talking about soil erosion, you're going to be able to reduce the soil erosion. And also, the trees themselves, if they're going to be acting as shade trees, they're able to of course, provide natural cover for the crops which do not need too much sunlight heat on needs. Now, the carbon market opportunity there, okay, is that we are able to generate what you call the carbon credits from the trees that you're putting within your crop farm. But what is a carbon credit? Now, I won't want to get into this too much conversation, but the carbon credit is simply a permit, or if you can say a carbon offset, basically a situation whereby you're able to develop a climate mitigation activity that is able to avoid, reduce, or remove what we call these greenhouse gases. Now, there are quite a number of greenhouse gases. We can talk about carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, and so forth. So if you take back, when you're putting trees within a typical crop, and then you're doing the early cropping, for example, you're able to see whereby as a tree is growing, it is able to keep on absorbing this carbon dioxide, which of course is one of the greenhouse gases. Now, of course, when you're talking about climate matters or climate change, the key thing here is what are you able to do to ensure that you are playing a role in reducing the global temperatures by 1.5 degrees by the year 2030. So by practicing agroforestry, you're able to do this, you're able to reduce the amount of emissions within your area, and most importantly, depending on how we're going to do the carbon accounting process, one is able to get what you call the carbon credits, which if you monetize, you're able to get what you call carbon finance. I'll talk about the prices later. The second thing, and I'm not speaking to those who are into dairy farming or beef farming, you will appreciate that whenever you're providing these meals to the dairy livestock or the beef the beef one, some of the times when the livestock is either burping or farting, there's certain emission, there's the methane emission. And that's why whenever you go to this livestock shed, there's that unique particular smell. In most cases, that is the methane. It could be the methane that is coming out as waste, okay? Or the methane is coming out in the form of a burp. Now, if you're able to develop a carbon project or a climate mitigation activity that's able to reduce the amount of methane that this livestock are burping or are burping out, you're able to get what you call the carbon credits. Now, these are fairly technical process. We as Fast Carbon have been able to work with some of the local partners here in Kenya at a lot of R&D, and the idea is basically you're using red seaweed, well, not directly, but you're using a version of red seaweed as a substitute feed for the normal livestock feed. What we've been able to realize is that potentially, depending on the kind of livestock and the region, the amount of methane reduction per annum per cattle is in the area of 20 to 40%. We are doing some bit of studies in some dairy livestock farmers in these areas of Rift Valley, and we have been able to see that whereby we are able to measure that a typical livestock within that region emits about 54 kilograms of methane, but through the injection of various versions of this red seaweed substitute feed, we're able to see the methane reducing. So that is also a potential carbon project. And of course, when this carbon finance is gotten, we're able to give up the farmers and for them to keep scaling their activities. Another very, very important CSA opportunity, and now I'm speaking to those in the areas of rice, especially those in Ghana. They are doing something very wonderful that is called alternate wetting and drying technique. Now, most of us know that when I mention rice cultivation, you're always just thinking of flooding. Now, what you might not know is that when you flood the rice paddy fields, you are creating what we call an anaerobic environment, an environment within the flooded area whereby the amount of oxygen is very little. What that does is that it tends to reduce the amount of oxygen available, and therefore the microbes within the flooded area die off. And as they die, they decompose methane. And that's why if you go to any rice paddy field, there's some smell, there's some interesting smell you pick off. That is usually the methane. So the climate smart agricultural practices is for you to be alternating between providing or flooding the ecosystem and not flooding the ecosystem, depending on the different stages of the rice growth. What that does for you is a number of things. Number one, of course, you will be saving a lot of water. And of course, water is very precious. Water is not in abundance. And number two, depending on the approach, we will also potentially do a carbon market project. As I've said, our friends in Ghana have taken it a step higher, whereby they've been doing what we call an Article 6 of the Paris Agreement project between the farmers in Ghana and, of course, our brothers and sisters all the way across the world in Switzerland. And, of course, they're able to generate what you call this carbon finance. Again, don't worry, there's an opportunity for everyone when it comes to CSA. I'm just able to catch about 7 of them. Now, another area I'm sure most of you have heard is biochar. Now, biochar should not be confused with charcoal. Biochar is a form of char, of course, and how you generate it is by, within the agricultural sector, it will be collecting all this agricultural waste. I'll give an example. If you're a rice farmer, maize farmer, coffee farmer, for example, when you're done harvesting and you're processing these cash crops and food crops, there's a lot of crop residue. Now, ordinarily, some of you might decide, or most of the farmers might decide to burn it. Some might decide to let it decompose and form organic fertilizer. Now, the climate smart approach will be to take this crop residue or this agricultural food waste and take it to what's called gasification or pyrolysis. There are different kinds of machines. You can Google open kill, you can Google pyrolysis. All these are different technologies. Now, when you get that voucher, several interesting things happen here. Number one, if, for example, your soil is deficient in one of the minerals, let's say it's potassium, you can take a bit of potassium, mix it with the voucher, and then apply it as fertilizer. One, that organic fertilizer which you are trying to create with letting the food waste decompose, you can still get as voucher. The difference being, one, you get the voucher, you get your fertilizer. Number two, you're also going to be improving the soil structure. Erosion will not be as easy as before. But most importantly, in my area of expertise, is that voucher has the ability to, of course, capture carbon, and therefore, when you generate voucher, you can also potentially get carbon credits as well, which of course, as you monetize it, you get this additional finance, but you can put it back into your business. Now, another area is called rotational grazing, and rotational grazing is one of the very many agricultural land management practices. Most of you, all of you who are into livestock, you know very well that if you've got 10 acres of land and you allow the livestock, the goat or the sheep to just roam around and graze the entire 10 acres of land, you're not doing yourself any good service. The approach should be you divide your land into paddocks and have the different livestock eat per paddock. So when they eat in, let's say, the first paddock here, for the next feeding season or session, allow them to move to the next paddock so as the original paddock can be allowed to calm down, to relax, to regenerate itself. Because remember, the nutrients in the grass was coming from the soil. So if you don't allow the soil to breathe and recuperate, the grass that will be coming out will not be nutritious. So through rotational grazing, you're allowing the soil organic carbon to be regenerated. And should we be able to quantify that and measure that? Of course, that then will also potentially give us another carbon market opportunity. And I'm very proud to say here in Kenya, we've got a project called Northlands Rangelands Trust, whereby my brothers, the Maasai and the Samburu community, who are pastoralists, have been able to have rotational grazing, therefore ensuring that not all the land will always be depleted as they're doing the grazing bit. So if you're able to measure that, you're not only making sure that your livestock has an opportunity to feed in the next cycle, but also potentially generate these carbon credits. The sixth area, of course, is livestock manure. This is nothing new. Most of you, I'm sure you know about biodigesters and whatnot, collecting animal or even human waste and making it and generating the biogas. And of course, when you're doing that, you're providing an opportunity to manage the amount of manure within your farm. So as this manure is not just decomposing within the cow shed, but if you're not going to use it for biogas, which can be used, or as organic fertilizer, you could use it as a form of power generation, especially if you're in a community where power generation is scarce. And of course, the power generation can be used for both heating and lighting. Now, I've mentioned about regenerative agriculture, crop rotation is one of them. And as you can see here, what we're trying to do is in the diagram is just an advanced form of now the crop rotation. We have rotational grazing for livestock and we have crop rotation for the case of different plants. Now, of course, you know very well, if you're doing maize, for example, you can't do maize 12 months a year. You need to give it time for it to the soil to again recoup the amount of nutrients that it has lost as it's going towards the plants. And if you are able to also come and measure the amount of soil organic carbon within that particular soil or your farm, you're also able to potentially generate these carbon credits. I know most of you are wondering what I'm doing. Now, there is what you call a non-exhaustive list, and allow anyone to just quickly take a quick screenshot because there's a lot here. I can't go through each of them. We have a patch agenda today with the BRACE program. There are so many things you can do if you're looking at the case of agricultural land management, all of which, of course, are climate smart practices. I am talking about, for example, the case of improving the fertilizer application. We all know for a fact that continuous use of inorganic fertilizers has a detrimental impact on the soil health. Okay, I did not talk about that. You're talking about improving water management or irrigation. Okay, and I've given the example of AWD in rice. There's also the aspect about reducing tillage. Remember, whenever you're tilling the land all too often, you're exposing the microbe again to the sunlight, and of course, over time, they will tend to die out. So the more you're able to reduce tillage, the more you're providing the growth of what you call now the soil organic carbon. Before I move on the next page, please, if you want, feel free to take a screenshot. I'm seeing there's a request for sharing. I'll be able to share it with the AFC team, and they're able to share it within your communication channels. So allow me to now proceed. As I said, there are so many opportunities. We are talking about rotational cropping. We're talking about improved grazing, all of which I've spoken about. Please feel free to take a screenshot and just internalize and think back to what you're doing. What is it I'm doing or not doing that I can start implementing and benefit from this? And the good thing with agriculture, somebody somewhere has done it. If you go to YouTube or look at some of the testimonials that have been showcased before I spoke, there are lots of opportunities of people who have done this and they're benefiting from it. I have not been paid by any entities to come and spread about agriculture. No. These things are happening somewhere in little or big Africa. And if you're not doing it, I'll ask you to reach out to Brace for some of these notes, or even go to YouTube and see what can I do, for example, in poultry, what can I do in pig farming, whatever it is you're doing. Just go out and research, and you'll see some of these things can actually be done here in Africa. We as Vast Carbon are doing quite a number of things, as I mentioned. Within northern Uganda, we have got a huge facility doing agriculture projects. Of course, what's happening here is that we are taking the agricultural farmers from the same farmer community that will later on be getting not only the electricity that's being generated by the voucher project. I don't know if I mentioned that, but depending on the machine you're using, you can not only generate the voucher, but also electricity from the gasification approach. And of course, we collect the waste, turn to voucher, we give it to the same farmers as fertilizer, and also supply electricity. This northern part of Uganda is called the Pamnalango. There's a bit of challenges with the electricity and whatnot, so we're able to do some of these interesting things. And of course, there are quite a number of carbon projects out there. I just mentioned those in the areas of agriculture. The prices also differ quite a lot. If you're in the areas of agriculture, looking at last year's prices, you're seeing the prices in the areas of agriculture in the areas of between $10 and $80, of course, depending on what it is exactly that you're doing. Please quickly take a screenshot before I move forward, because I know I'm almost out of time. But of course, always feel free to reach out. I'll be able to share more and more. And that's it for my presentation. As I mentioned, my name is Charles Waweru. I'm the director of carbon project at a company here in Nairobi, Kenya. It's called Vast Carbon. We not only just work in Kenya, but we work across Africa. We've got projects in northern Uganda. We're doing it with the FCTO and Palladium. We have got something we're doing down in Zimbabwe with an entity called Horticultural Development Corporation. We also did something here in Kenya and so many other places. Feel free to come see what you're doing. If you've got an interest, if you want to have some quick 10, 20, 40 minutes call to see if what you're doing is applicable in terms of CSA and carbon markets, please come to our website, vast.art, up there. Reach out, see what you're doing, and we'll always be very, very happy to just reach out and help you. Our mantra is scaling Africa's carbon market opportunity, but of course, there's nothing like carbon without the actual work. I will put my contacts also in the chat box, but otherwise, thank you so much for taking time from your schedule, and thank you so much, Sam, for also being part of the press initiative. And I hope the learnings you're getting from myself, from Dr. Ibrahim, of course, from Brace will not go to waste, but you'll actually go back and become better, bigger, and smarter farmers. Thank you so much for your time. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Charles. Thank you so much for this insightful session. So to maximize our time, we'll just take Dr. Ibrahim, and then we'll come back to take all of the questions and answers together so that we don't waste too much time. So Dr. Ibrahim, are you there now? Hi, doctor.
Yeah, hi, patient. Apologies, my network went into crash the other time, but now please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, doctor.
So
Welcome
we
back.
can just, we can just proceed to the presentation if you can help to share from your end.
Okay, yes, I'll share now. Give me
Okay,
a
so
moment, please.
before the slide comes up, so I just want the participants all to understand that what we're trying to do here is to look at what are the sustainable practices in terms of livestock production. How do we mitigate the production of greenhouse gases in livestock production? What are the practices that when we do, it will limit the production of greenhouse gases? It's not going to be totally eliminated. It's not something we can fight in one day and say we are eliminating the production of greenhouse gases, but we can actually do better in terms of reducing or mitigating the production of these greenhouse gas emissions. Let's move, please, patients. Okay, so this is just the outline of what we are going to discuss. But importantly, I think one of the things we are going to focus on is to look at what are the sustainable practices, right? What are actually the good husbandry practices in livestock production, which when we adopt, it will mitigate or reduce the emission of greenhouse gases. I'm not going to talk much about climate change. Mr. Charles have actually done justice to it. So you already know what we mean by greenhouse gas emissions. You already know what we talk when we say global warming. You already know what is what are the greenhouse gases and how they are being produced. So my own duty here is to try as much as I could to tell you what are the practices in livestock production that when you adopt, it will reduce the production of these greenhouse gases. Next slide, please. Next slide, patients. Okay, so when you look at this slide, we talk about the introduction to sustainable livestock production. So in sustainable livestock production, you try to look at what are the practices that will maximize your output in terms of production, and then you are doing less harm to the environment in terms of production of greenhouse gases. When you look at this, there's something we call circular bioeconomy, whereby most of the things that are being considered as waste is being cycled back into the ecosystem or into the economy. Importantly is the animal dung or feces, which Mr. Charles have already talked much about, which we can use in the generation of even biogas and even manure, so that this is being cycled back into the economy. So when you produce your manure using the faces, these actually you can use in your crops, and then it means that what is being generated as waste is being cycled back to the economy for production and then increase yield. And then part of what you produce can be used for feeding these same animals, which when you talk about forage and then maybe pasture production, you know, so you look at even crop residues that you get, this is also being cycled back into the economy. So some of these practices are good animal health practices to lower greenhouse gas emissions. In good animal health practices, what we mean is to see that we do not do irrational treatment of animals. We only treat animals based on prescription so that we limit the use of antibiotics. When you use more antibiotics, you tend to have antibiotic residues in these animals. And as such, the more you have this, the more the production of even greenhouse gas emission, and even when these animals die or when they are being slaughtered, you see that you have a lot of residues, a lot of chemicals that at the end of the day, after some chemical, let me say, after some processes, you will see that they lead to generation of most of these greenhouse gases, such as some nitrous oxide and methane. Then proper animal byproduct waste management. In waste management, we've talked about it, how you can convert your manure to things that are useful in terms of production of manure or even biogas at the end of the day. Next slide, please. Okay, so rotational grazing, I'm very happy Mr. Charles talked much about rotational grazing. You see, in rotational grazing, as much as you have divided your paddock into different segments, these animals are able to actually graze on a particular paddock or a particular segment, and then they move from one segment to another. At the end of the day, the overall effect is to see that this will reduce soil erosion, and then it will allow also the segment or the land to regain some of these nutrients or minerals that it has lost over a period of time. Then integrated crop livestock system. We also talk about agroforestry. So in this situation or in this process, you see that in the same field where you grow your crops, you also have these animals in between these crops, and then at the end of the day, they try to also absorb the manure which these animals actually produce. So there is waste management, and then it allows also for carbon sequestration into the soil, right? So energy efficient system, this is very important. You go to most of our farms, livestock farms, when you use heavy machineries or you use some of these electrical appliances that are not energy efficient, they tend to emit heat and then emit a lot of these chemicals that are being referred to as so at the end of the day, the more you use these heavy machineries or electrical appliances that tend to have a lot of carbon emission, then it means that you are contributing to global warming, you are contributing more to emission of greenhouse gases. So, but when you use energy efficient system, then it tries or tends to mitigate the production of greenhouse gases to the environment. Genetic selection or genetic improvement is very important in livestock production. This, what we tend to do is to reduce your stocking density. When you have 10, 20, 30 animals, for example, talking about goats, talking about sheep, talking about pigs, talking about cattle, the more the number of these livestock, the more the production of greenhouse gases, either through belching or even through the feces, right? But when you have lesser livestock or lesser animals, it means that there is less production of greenhouse gases. Usually, this production could be via fermentation, and then the type of nutrient or the type of feed these animals actually even consume, right? So when you do genetic selection, you are trying to improve, you do an hybridization system whereby you try to select some of these traits that will give you as high production as possible that can cover for the number of animals you are trying to, can cover the gap, right? Say, for example, you are into dairy production. You do maybe artificial insemination or some type of genetic engineering whereby you are able to get a cow that can give you maybe 20 liters of milk per day. Now, if you are using the local cows, you could keep maybe 10 of those cows to give you as much as that 20 liters. Now, if you have a single cow that can give you 20 liters per day, you don't need to keep 10, 15 cows that will give you the same liters of milk. The same thing when you are talking about fattening, we talk about what is the weight of the animal. If you have a genetic hybrid or a genetic improved cow that can give you maybe 900 kg, right? 1 ton, that is 1,000 kg, right? You don't need to keep as much animals, maybe those that will grow to the full size of just 200 or 300 kg at the maximum. But if you have a single cow that can give you maybe 1.5 ton or 2000 kg, then you don't need as much animals. And then the more you keep those animals, the more the production of greenhouse gases. So that's what we are trying to explain in terms of genetic selection and then genetic improvement in livestock production. Next slide, please. So overall, what we are trying to look at is to look at what are the good husbandry practices. What are the practices that when you emulate or when you adopt, it will reduce the production of greenhouse gases in production, in animal health, and even in welfare. Proper feeding practices. You try to select good forage and then do your combination or your feed selection properly so that you give even less grain to these animals and then more forage. The lesser the grain, the more the forage, the less the fermentation, and then the less the production of greenhouse gases. Then proper stocking densities, I've talked about that. That is reducing the number of animals or the number of livestock so that you are able to select genetically improved traits that will give you as high production as possible so that you use also the emission of greenhouse gases by these livestock. Then proper animal hygiene and waste management. Yeah, we've talked about that. How do you actually ensure that the waste that is being produced by these livestock, you put them into use, you are able to recycle them back into the ecosystem. You don't leave them to pile up and then produce these greenhouse gases such as methane, which is very important when you have this dung that is being piled up. Lot of fermentation processes take place and then generate heat energy, and then you see that there is methane production at the end of the day. In animal health, yeah, treatment and then vaccination. But most importantly, what we try to advocate in animal health is biosecurity and biocontamination. So in biosecurity, you are trying as much as you could to even prevent the occurrence of diseases. It's when you have much diseases, that's when you embark on using a lot of chemicals, a lot of drugs, and the more you use these drugs, the more the chemical residue in these animals, the more the residue, antibiotic residues in the animals, and then the more the production of methane and other greenhouse gases. So in biosecurity, you try to do preventive measures. So preventive measures involve vaccinating the animals and also maintaining proper hygiene so that you will actually control the entrance of diseases into your herd or into the livestock value chain. I think these are some of the important practices which when we adopt, it will reduce greenhouse gas emission. Importantly, in production, try to select genetically improved livestock. Try also to do a proper waste management in terms of production of dung or manure. Then try as much as you could also to see that you do a proper animal nutrition, whereby the type of feed you give these animals does not lead to bloating or excess fermentation, which will lead to production of greenhouse gas emission. So I'm going to stop here and I will give room for questions and then interactions from the participants. Thank you all for having me. It's my pleasure to be on this platform. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much. So we'll just quickly go to the Q&A session. Seeing that Taiwo Top has been raising his hand for the longest time. So please, I'll just quickly allow you unmute and either contribute, because I saw in the comment section that you want to contribute to the topic, which is really, really okay and welcome. So please, if you have questions or you have contribution, please raise your hand and then we'll ask you to unmute and either ask your question or give your contribution. So we'll just start with Taiwo Toba. I am asking you to unmute and go ahead, please. Taiwo Toba, please unmute. we have asked that you want it.
Good evening in the house.
All right,
My name is,
please go ahead.
My name is Taiwo Toba from Ekiti State. I am very appreciative of what they are contributing to this platform since. But I want to share some of this climate adaptation in livestock production and climate smart agriculture. Adoption are crucial for ensuring food security and mitigation climate change impacts. You see, as an example, integrated livestock forestry system. In that description, combine livestock grazing with trees cultivation to enhance shade, reduce heat stress, and promote biodiversity. And you see from that, the benefit of that is improve animal welfare. It increases feed quality and enhance ecosystem services. Number two, from a climate resilient breed, you can see from that side, selection and breeding livestock varieties tolerant to extreme temperature, droughts, and diseases. The benefit of that is enhanced adaptability, reduce mortality rates, and improve productivity. So from all these things, and we can see from agro-pastoralism, the description in that place is integrating crop and livestock production to optimize resource use and reduce climate risk. Diversify income stream, improve soil fertility, and reduce greenhouse gas emission. You can see from all these things, it will make additional opportunity in climate smart agriculture. And we have so many opportunity in addition, which can have precision in making farming. If there is more share time, in order to explain more, I will be very happy. But let me just put it in this side, that it is good to know the policy in smart agricultural to know the policy in this smart what do you call it? I think in a climate smart agriculture, we have another one, which is production, that is increase in crop yield and improve food quality to enhance nutrition security and boost income, especially for rural community. That is under the competence of CSA policy. Then we have the resilience there, which reduce vulnerability to climate-related risk and shocks and improve capacity to adapt to longer time stress. So reducing emission.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Taiwo. So that
will
give other people a chance to speak as well.
In other forum, I'll be able to speak details about all these things. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, maybe we'll have a peer learning forum where we'll have peer learning, and then you can contribute to OG. So we don't give other people opportunity to also speak as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for the great contribution. It's really appreciated. Thank you. So we'll quickly go to the next person, Joshua Ishola. Please go ahead and unmute. Joshua Shola, if you are there, I'm asking you to go ahead.
Yes.
Okay,
good
yes, please go ahead.
afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ibrahim. Thank you for your insightful lecture. First and foremost, I would love to appreciate African Food Changemaker. My name is Joshua Ishola, and I'm opportunity to be among the top scholars this week. Thank you very much for the
I'm clapping for you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm from Nigeria anyway. Maybe I should just mute my, is it my video now? I don't know. Okay, so let me just go ahead. I mean, to ask my question. So now, how can we actually improve, Dr. Ibrahim, please, how can we actually improve the supply and quality of forage, to help reduce overgrazing and to also curb land degradation? So how can we actually improve the supply and the quality of forage so that overgrazing and land degradation can be reduced? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you
All right,
very
thank
much
you.
for
Okay.
question. Yeah, so in terms of quality of forage, this also depends on your selection of the type of forage and then the type of seeds. One of the things we do in terms of climate adaptation and mitigation is to ensure that the type of forage you are even planting in the first place are drought resistant, right? Example, you can have your Brachiaria mulatto or Brachiaria resistensis. You can have things like Digitaria. These are different types of grass. You could have the sugar graze, right, which is the Supernapia. These are different type of forages that you can get. You can get the seed probably at NAPRI, National Animal Production Research Institution in Zaria, Kaduna State, right? So try to select these type of seeds. Then you will now have a good forage at the end of the day. And then these will go a long way in terms of reducing even overgrazing and even depending on excess concentrates that can lead to increased fermentation and even increase in greenhouse gas emission, right? So I think, let me just stop here. If you need any further clarification, you can have my number and then we can take it up. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Juliet Chineye, please unmute and speak.
All right, thank you so much. And first of all, I would want to appreciate Dr. Ibrahim for this wonderful presentation. My name is Juliet Ejeze from Nigeria. I'm a pig farmer and I'm really interested in one of the things he said about waste management, trying to turn the manure into biogas. I want to know how we can actually do this because where my farm is located, we have other farms. We have over 200 farms in that area, and the manure is not properly managed. We just heap it, and even the crop farmers around, they don't finish whatever thing we produce every day. So I see this as an opportunity because he really mentioned about, talked about, generating cooking gas from the manure. What is the how possible is this, and is it really something a smallholder can actually do? What is the scale like? Can a small holder, I really want to know whether it's capital intensive or something that a small farmer or maybe a farmer that just have like 500 or 300 pig head capacity, because actually where our farm is located, most farmers, their pigs are in like 100, 200. Is this something a farmer that that has that capacity can actually delve into? Can we actually do it? How do we do it? How do we turn our manure gas into biogas? So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to mention that if we have 300 pigs, you are a rich person. You are not a smallholder again. All right. So even if you have just 5 pigs or even 3 pigs, you can delve into biogas production. Right? Maybe with the permission of patient and other faculty members of Brace, during one of the interactive sessions, maybe we could invite an expert that is into the process of generation these biogas. All right, so I have a lot of contacts, those that have done it, and then they are into even training of smallholder farmers on how to utilize the dung that is being produced by their livestock to generation of cooking gas, biogas, and the rest of it. So the process is actually seamless. It's not something that is capital intensive, right? So most importantly, you talk about the accessibility, affordability, and then availability. So all this, it's something you can dwell into. It's accessible, it's affordable, and then it's available, right? So maybe we can talk further. I can share some contacts with you offline, maybe after this meeting, and then you are able to contact those guys and they are able to put you through and you can have some networks. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Hi.
much. I appreciate.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Maybe by popular demand, we would actually invite an expert in biogas generation from Manu, and then would have every other person also benefit from this. But let's see how it goes. So thank you so much, Juliet. Thank you, Doctor. The next is Muniruddin Yunusa. Please unmute and ask.
Hello, good evening. My name is Muniruddin Yunusa. I'm a livestock farmer. I really appreciate the two lecturers for their insightful discussion on this class. So I'm directing my question to Dr. Ibrahim. So basically, in livestock production, nutrition contributes immensely to the success of the sector. So livestock farmers, they do everything possible to ensure the success of their production system by sourcing for the necessary feedstuff to feed their animals, which actually increases the methane, the nitrous oxide, and the greenhouse gas emission. So science has proven that livestock contributes to about 14 to 14.5% greenhouse gas emission. So my question now is that how can we ensure a sustainable climate smart livestock production, leveraging the nutrition approach such that how can we design their diets that will ensure sustainable production, that will also increases production while it will reduce the greenhouse gas emission? Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was an insightful question, a professorial question in that manner. Yeah, so trying to look at sustainable practices, most importantly, you should leverage on TMR. TMR is total mixed ration for livestock, whereby you are able to have an expert help you to design the ingredients or the raw materials that is used in your concentrates, right? If you are not into production of forage, for example, somebody asks on forage production. So forage, you know already, you are into maybe production of your silage in your farm, yeah, whereby your animals can get access to the nutritional dense forage all year round, especially when you are into irrigation farming. But if that's not the case, and you need to formulate your feed, concentrate, and then maybe with hay and other resources. So all you need to do is to get an expert that will give you the formulation ratio, whereby depending also on your livestock production system, right? You cannot have the same concentrate or the same feed formulation for dairy to be for fattening. You cannot have the same thing for pig, for cattle. You cannot have the same thing for poultry. So different production systems have their different feed formulation system. So that is why we leverage on total mixed fraction for every production system. My advice is that if you are into livestock production, get an animal nutritionist, an animal scientist who is able to formulate your feed for you depending on the production system you are using the raw materials that are actually available at your own end. You don't need to spend a lot of money in buying a lot of concentrates actually, because if you are a farmer, you should be able to pick from some of the resources you have in your farm. You can get your ash, you can get your hay, you can even use some of these waste products, even rice bran, rice husks from rice system to formulate your feed, depending on the expert recommendation. So that will be my take on this. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, Doctor. We have 3 more people, and I hope it stops at these 3 people. Please, if you have questions, you're not raising your hand yet, please don't raise your hand. Just go to the comment section and type it there. We'll see it and read it out. So we have Oyeni Yifulola, we have Engineer Kingsley, and Oluwadami Larry. Those are the 3 people that are left to ask their questions. So please, Oyeni, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yeah. Good afternoon, patient.
Good afternoon. Yes.
Thank you. You have been so wonderful and making. Can
yes,
you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. Please go ahead.
I want to know if you. Okay, thank you, patience. You have been making these discussions very. I've always been anticipating to see your face every time.
Thank you.
So thank you. Yeah, I want to also say thank you to Dr. Ibrahim and Sir Charles. Thank you very much, sirs. Yeah, my question is, number 1, the usual practice in my home farm, I don't want to generalize, I am into commercial broiler production. And the usual practice is that when we get a day-old bird from the hatchery, on the arrival, when the birds arrive, we administer enro for them. That's an antibiotics. I want to say that, is it a good practice? That is number 1 question. That is it a good practice that when we get our day-old chicks, we administer as they come, because we believe that they are coming with some artery, some disease from the artery. Say, for instance, I have a set of like a weak broiler at the moment. Because of this course, I intend that I am not going to administer antibiotics for them. I try to use local, like saint leaf. Because of this training, I want to see the outcome. And seriously, my chicken, they are started coming up with CRD. So I want to now ask, now practically now, is it what we are doing, is it that is wrong administering antibiotics for our day-old chicks when they arrive? And now, if we say we are not administering the antibiotics, what else can we do? Because if we don't do it, the chickens are seen up with one artery, one disease they are coming from the artery. Say, for instance, like CRD that I just talked about. That's my number 1 question. The second question I want to ask is that you've been talking about carbon farming. I want to know that the emphasis has been on pig, those doing ruminant animal. I want to know how poultry farmers can benefit from the carbon fund. How can we do our production? How best can we do our production to be able to qualify for a carbon fund? That's my second question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just to go straight to the point, it's a very wrong practice. If you are administering antibiotics today or chick, you are wrong. Stop it. So basically, you are not supposed to administer antibiotics. In fact, not even at day old, right? Even by the time they come to up to 6 weeks. If you do a good production system, you don't even need to administer anything to your birds, actually. It's because your biosecurity measure is actually very important. If your biosecurity measure is very strong, at the end of the day, you will raise an antibiotic-free chickens. Most parts of the world now, people go for chickens or poultry that are raised under 0 antibiotics. I no longer buy, broiler chickens, right? I only buy from farms that are certified as organic farms, 0 antibiotics, because these are residues, and at the end of the day, they emit a lot to the environment, causing a lot of mutation and even cancerous diseases all around. So it's not a good practice. It's a very, very wrong practice. In order not to expose your farm to cases of diseases such as the chronic respiratory disease, CRD, that you mentioned, all you need to do is to ensure that you have a good biosecurity measure, right? This will prevent the entry of diseases into your health. Then the second question is also related to the first question, talking about in poultry, how do you benefit? The way you can benefit is to stop giving antibiotics. Raise your chickens to be under strict environmental hygiene, whereby there is reduction in terms of greenhouse gas emission, and then at the end of the day, you are able to recycle the waste that you get, especially the poultry manure dung, which can be used for manure and a lot of things, generation of biogas and the rest of it, right? So, and then reduce or stop giving antibiotics, raise them under organic condition, whereby you don't need to give antibiotics. Good husbandry practices, just like we mentioned, right? Vaccinate your birds. When you vaccinate them against most of these diseases, they don't come down with the disease. So therefore, you don't need to give antibiotics to treat the diseases. Prevention, we say, is better than cure. What is the prevention? Biosecurity, vaccinate your birds. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, Oyeni. So we have the last hand that's raised. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Charles. I see that you have answered some of the questions in the comment section, and really great. Thank you so much. Oh, Dixon, I'm sorry, we can't take your question. I already said that. So please write it in the comment section and I'll read it out. We can't take any more hand. The last person is Oluwatamilare. Please go ahead and unmute Oluwatamilare. I'm asking you to unmute Oluwatamilare.
All right. Thank you very much.
Please go ahead. We cannot hear you. If you are speaking, we cannot hear you. Hi, Oluwatamilare. You just
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. Yeah, with Bendo Agribusiness Systems, we are into crop production and supply. My question stems from one of the presentations where we're talking about how to reduce greenhouse gases production. I think Dr. Ibrahim, I'm not sure, he said that one of the options that was given was stopping density. So I was not sure if I got the clarity on that, if it is stocking density per unit area or per farm, because we all know that for us to sustainably produce food that will ensure for security, we have to produce in commercial quantity. So how do we now bring in stocking density when there is a need for commercial production, especially when it even comes to large ruminant like cattle that just have limited production in a year in a cycle? So that is basically my question. The question is based on stocking density. Is it per unit area or per farm? And if it is per farm, how do we achieve commercial production with limiting stocking density? And then maybe I should even ask, what is the standard ratio for the stocking density? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. So the stocking density is not per unit area, but it's per farm. All right, so the stocking density also is in relation to what we refer to as genetic improvements. All right, you reduce stocking density in relation to improve to improve hybridization, right? So what we are trying to say is that it's not economically viable or even sustainable for you to continue to keep 1,500, 1 million livestock in your farm. You can have the same production system or the same productivity with 10 cows, right? 10 productive cows than keeping 100 cows. This same 10 cows can give you what 100 cows will give you. So you have more advantage of keeping the lesser one because you are even managing the space, you are managing the water you are giving them, you are managing also the feed you are giving them. And at the end of the day, they will give you the same in terms of if it's fattening, in terms of if it's milk production system, it will give you the same or even more than what those ones are giving you. So it's just by doing genetic selection properly. At the end of the day, you are able to get the same, equal, or even more than what the higher number is giving you. So that's what we mean. The stocking density is in relation to selection of good or quality livestock, right? So that you also reduce a lot of things, even medication you give, and then even more money for the farmer, right? It's just that we are used to, we want to always keep plenty animals, but that's not wise, actually. Keep less animals that are useful to you, and then they'll give you money. If you have money to do genetic improvement, it's better you keep Girolando, keep Frisian or Austrian breeds of cows than keep the white Fulani, Bukolo, and the rest of it. You keep like 15 of them for you to have equal of what one Frisian is going to give you. So what's the essence? It's better you will reduce the stocking density at the end of the day. So that's what we mean. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. So we have some questions in the comment section, and this one is for you, Mr. Charles. So the question is saying, how can we access carbon farming fund, and what are the organizations that are involved in carbon funding in Africa or East? Oh, the person is even precise, East Africa. I know that you are in East Africa, Mr. Charles. So you may want to advise on the organizations that can be approached on some of these things. So Charles, are you there?
Just clarify what the question is, how can we do?
How can we access carbon farming funds, and what are the organizations that are involved in carbon funding, especially in East Africa?
Okay, good. So yeah, I'm seeing this question from France. So actually, within here in East Africa, there's an organization called FSD Africa. It has been known to do quite a number of funds provision for carbon projects, especially in the areas of what you call agriculture and forestry. So if you are in East Africa, that is one of the organizations I could suggest you look into. But of course, it comes down to a question of scale, because this organization, they're all about, they provide financing in what you call significantly huge ticket sizes. So the solution that we have been always trying to work around is to aggregate smallholder projects. So as instead of looking at one smallholder farmer, we're looking at 10, 20, 30,000 smallholder farmers put as one project, especially agroforestry, and then we seek finance for that one huge pool as opposed to the one smallholder farmer. But other answer would simply be FSD Africa is one such entity that provides financing. We also have CIF, that is CIFF, Children Investment Fund Foundation. If you're looking at the case of the agroforestry pillar, they also provide financing. But again, for them, their ticket size starts from about 10 million USD. So again, that means you have to be a significantly huge project to be under consideration. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Charles. Thank you. I'm sorry, guys, but that's all that we were able to take for today, so that we can quickly go to other things. But then if there are questions in the comment section, trust us, we're going to take all of the questions and send to our speakers, Dr. Ibrahim and Mr. Charles. We're going to send you some of the questions that the participants are asking, and then you please help us with answers, and we'll send it back to them via email. So thank you so much, Dr. Ibrahim. Thank you so much, Charles. But then before you go, we have to take our photo together. And how we used to do it, we have to take photos with you so that in case you come to Kenya and we see you in Nairobi, we should tell you that, oh yes, Mr. Charles, we're in a session with you, and Dr. Ibrahim as well. Please, let's on our videos and then take photos with our speakers and our facilitators. Thank you so much. I can see that some people are already switching on their videos. This is great. Thank you so much. And I know that my colleagues are already taking the photos. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Charles. Thank you for always being available. It's not taken for granted at all. Thank you so much. And Dr. Ibrahim, thank you for always availing yourself to us. And we appreciate this. We do not take it for granted. Thank you so much. And do enjoy the rest of your evening. So, dear participants, we're going to continue. I told you that we're having a very special announcement for you all today. And then, yes, before we go into the announcement, we quickly want to take the membership drive. You know that if you're not a member of African Food Chain Makers, then you are still not stable with this BRACE program. You really have to be a member of the African Food Chain Makers membership, or so as to enjoy all of the other benefits. It is not enough to do BRACE program. There are so many other things that people enjoy as a member in the membership community. And so please, if you're not a member, please, you have to be a member. So I'll quickly call on the membership team to do the membership drive and tell you why it is important that you become a member of the African Food Chain Makers. So Rose, if you are on this call, I'm going to leave this to you. Hi, Rose, are you there? Hello, membership team. Is anyone there to take us through this? I hope
Okay,
you're
sorry
not
about
struggling.
that. Everybody.
Thank you. Please
Good
go
afternoon,
ahead.
everybody. All right, if you can
Good
hear me.
afternoon, we can hear you.
All right, Patience, thank
Yes,
you
please,
for
we
this
can hear you.
opportunity. And thank you, the presenters, for the insightful presentation. So my name is Rose, like Patience has said, Rose Ekom, and a representative of the membership team. So I'll be taking you through what we do, the benefit of being a member. As Patience had rightly said, that it's really a good thing for you to join our membership community. After going through the program, you need to know more about, you need to stay informed about other programs. Being a member, you get to participate in other programs. We have so many programs lined up in AFC. So one of the benefits of being a member is visibility. We create visibilities for our members. How do we do this? Exhibitions, like when we have exhibition, we go along with our members' products, we collect our members' products, help them sell it for free. And also we have a vibrant marketplace in our hub that we advertise our members' products for free. We also have training. Apart from BRACE, we have other training. Very soon, SEP will be coming on board. So if you are not a member, how will you be informed of all this program? So you have to join our membership community to be informed of all this program. So my colleague will be dropping the link on the chat box. Please, if you are not doing join our community, please click on the link and join our membership community. And for those that have been joining us, say thank you so much. And for those that have not joined, please don't let the program finish and then you said, oh, how do I become a member? And then please click on the link and join our membership community. So if you click on the link, it will take you to our landing page where you can see a drop down that says join the community. So if you click on the community, it asks you for some documents, like your company needs to be registered as one of the criteria, and you need to be been in business for the period of 6 months, not less than the period of 6 months. And then you need to have like social media presence in order for you to join our membership community. Patient, next slide, please. Hello, Patient, can you hear me? So this is the marketplace, just like I mentioned before. Your products will be shown on our website and our hub, for free. So you be seeing your product apps. People in Nigeria will also be seeing your product, can buy your product from you. I mean, this is a good, I don't know, and it's free. So please, if you have not signed up, please just click on the link and join our membership community. Thank you. And Patient, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Rose. Thank you so much for taking us through the membership drive. And please, if you're not a member of the African Food Chain Makers yet, this is the time to click on the link in the comment section and become a member. Really, there are so many things you stand to gain as a member. As a matter of fact, somebody reached out to me some few weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, to say, oh, you wanted a recommendation letter. And as a the BRACE program cannot provide that. I have to refer the person to the membership team, which gave him the recommendation letter. So there are so many other things that you can get, you stand to gain as a member of the African Food Chain Makers, like the exhibition and all of the other things that Rose has mentioned. I don't want to mention them again. So really, if you are not a member yet, become a member so that this program does not just end with getting the certificates. Afterwards, you can get many other things afterwards if you become a member. So please become a member. Our special announcement, before we go into that, we quickly want to do the portal walkthrough. This is like our week 5, and there are people that have still not logged into the portal. What are you waiting for? You don't want to get certificates, or you don't want our special, and you don't want to benefit from our special announcement. Okay, let me quickly fill the myth here. So the announcement is that we're going to be having study visits after this the live interactive sessions. We're going to have the technical phase, and the technical phase is the study visits. We'll be visiting some of the some countries, and the countries we are visiting, the only reason why we're visiting these countries is because we have so many participants from those countries that have concluded or that have completed the BRACE program. So please, if you want to be a part of the technical phase, you want to be a part of the BRACE study visit. And one of the benefits of the study visit is the fact that it's a practical session where you get to learn some of the things that you have seen or you have learned from the portal. For example, this biogas conversion of manure into biogas. We're going to be visiting some of these stations where you can learn that practically, ask questions, see how it is done, and then learn how it is done. So these are some of the things that if you do not complete your modules, you stand to miss. But if you complete your modules very well, we're going to reach out to you. So because the technical phase is only those that have completed the modules that we are reaching out to. It's not going to be publicized in the WhatsApp group. You're not going to see it. You're not even going to know about it if you do not complete the modules, and that's actually a very important step. If you do not have certificate for the BRACE program, there's no way we are contacting you for the BRICS study visit. So that's actually why it is important to complete them. And again, if you are in a country where you people are just 5 from that country, and you still also do not want to complete the modules, then you're saying you do not want to bring study visit in your country. So please, if you have friends, I know that there's been a lot of networking happening within the BRICS program. So if you have friends within the program that are yet to complete the modules, you can also encourage them to complete the module so that we can get to do study visit in your region or your country as well. So yes, that takes me to the portal walkthrough. I don't know if I should go into the portal or we should just ask questions. Maybe if you are having an issue or a challenge logging into the portal, you can just let us know. Please raise your hand and ask your question so that can help us delve into the portal walkthrough properly. So I'll just wait and check for anyone that has any issue with logging to the portal, and then we'll treat that using the portal. So I'll just stop sharing and share so that I can see your hand. Okay, I can see one hand, Alabi. Is there any other hand, please? I want to see all the hands. I don't want to start and then I'm seeing many other hands taking us back. I would just like to see all the hands once so that I'll ask you to ask your questions or tell us what the challenge is, and then we'll go over there. Okay, all right, thank you. So Alabi, I'm asking you to unmute and ask. Oh, Taiwo, okay, that's fine. Alabi, please go ahead, unmute and ask. All right, Alabi, I'm asking you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, please go ahead.
So I have already done the modules to the 4th week. So can I also have access to 5th week or 6th week and 6th week together?
Yes, you can have access, yes.
But I'm trying to navigate through that. I've not been able to do so.
Oh, so I want to understand what error message you're getting when you try to, because you said you're finished module 4, right? So after module 4, you're just supposed to see next module and click on it, then module 5.
Yes, but it has been locked.
So when you click module 5, it's locked.
Yes.
That's strange. Maybe you can reach out to any of the admins in the WhatsApp group if you're in the WhatsApp group, or send us an email to the BRICS email address, and we'll go over that with you. Do you understand?
No problem.
Yes, so please,
Thanks.
you can just send us what's happening.
My other question is that what is the implication of not passing a module out of some of the modules?
Okay, so
the pass mark is 70.
Okay, yes. So for the modules, it's actually help us to for the pass mark and all of that. The reason why it's there is to help us collect top scholars and all of that. So if we don't have that that benchmark on it, it is difficult for us to be able to collect, because if you check your portal, you will see the top scholars. You always see the names of the top scholars in the top scholars dashboard every week. It changes every week and all of that. So the top score actually helps us to be able to distinguish that. But then, regardless of the score, once you're able to complete all of the modules, you would get your certificate regardless of the scores.
Thanks.
All right, you're welcome. So Taiwo, please go ahead. So Taiwo, I'm asking you to unmute.
Yes, thank you very much. I really appreciate what everybody is contributing on this forum. I was trying to give some suggestion, because in my area, we have so many people that are operating all these things, but not all of them are well, what do we call it, educated about it, or they are just practicing it. Even in my area, I know they are well, doing all these things. But how can this forum, in another way, taking this thing more down, discussion on a platform like this? I think we should be able to take a proactive step, to reach to all those areas, rural areas, or those people that cannot get opportunity to have join this forum, in order to educate about what they should do about their own production. We should take a step. We should take some solution, or to take it to a rural, so that people can access things that they need, or a solution to their production at all times. Please.
All right, thank you so much. So that's actually one of the reasons why we are doing this. So that when we train you, will be able to train others. When we talk we cannot be everywhere at a time, right? So when we train people in this platform like this, they take this knowledge out to their immediate communities, and then the people around them, to tell them, oh, this is the best practice, this is what you can do, this is what you cannot do, and all of that. So it's us giving you this knowledge so that you can also transfer to the people around you. But then this is very well noted. Thank you so much, Taiwo, for that contribution. So Ambassador G.I. Madodoye, please go ahead. Oh, I'm asking you to unmute. Okay.
Okay. Good evening from Nigeria. Thank you very much. It's been amazing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yes. As if the last speaker, it's in my mind. For me, I always look at the sustainability of a program. For me, I'm tired as a practical person. This thing is practical. It's on the field, So if not for the fact that my mentor, Professor of Agriculture, that sent this link to me to attend, honestly, I'm tired of programs, but this is quite different. But apart from learning, apart from, taking courses online and all that, we need to practicalize it. So I'm suggesting that beyond the study tour, that's good, that's very good, practical. Africa, one of our major challenges is that we do theory too much. 6 years in school, theory. Primary school, 6 years, theory. Secondary school, 6 years, theory. Then you go to university, theory. At the end of the day, we're not producing people that can think and also put their hands to work. So this is very unique. So for me, I'm tired of this. Apart from the talk, do you have a center, like say 2-3 places in Nigeria, or maybe somewhere in Nigeria, where, like, when you say where we can go and, even if it means transporting yourself to show commitment to go there. Because, for example, now, if you come to our farm, by the time you say, okay, you're not using chemical, right? Even when you use chemical, because of the climate, if you use chemical now, you drop chemical now, the rains are unpredictable. Before you know, rains will drop and your money will waste. And imagine somebody who is just starting, somebody who is borrowing money to just start something because you don't want to be unemployed, or you don't want to be independent on government or anything. You want to create opportunity, Now you're doing organic. By the time you finish clearing, half a plot, let's say a plot is 450 meters square. So by the time you finish clearing half, and let's say you're the only person doing that, or you are just two doing that, by the time you finish clearing a plot, or you share it into 4, by the time you finish clearing 2 parts, the grasses have taken over the other parts that you. So how do you scale? So these things, we need practical, experiences, so that we can come back and also not just for ourselves, but train others. And then we also need, financial support for those that are really willing to do it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for that great contribution and all that. So maybe I'll start from the last. So at African Food Changemakers, we actually do not directly give grants or money or financial aid to our participants or to our members, but then we actually facilitate the linkages and then connections with where you can easily get grants and all that. So for whether there are centers in Nigeria or other places, so we have, in fact, the participants in the BRACE program actually in over 40 countries and all that. So for centers where you can learn more and all of that, that's actually one of the reasons why we want you to also join the AFC membership community. And then we can refer you for people that want further knowledge, further technical know-how on how all of these things. You want to do like a practical session, and then you want to go into places where you can learn all of these things practically and all that. We can facilitate that connection for you, and then introduce you to the facilities where you can do all of those things. But then you have to show us the interest and tell us that you are interested and you want to do this by becoming a member of the African Food Changemakers, and then let us know what you want. We would facilitate that for you. So thank you so much. I saw another hand raised, but it's like the person has lowered their hands. I'll just check the comment section. Okay, so the person is asking, is the visit free? Yes, please, it's free. Is the visit all paid or fully funded? One, what do you mean all paid? Yes, you are not going to pay for anything during the visits. Yes, so we are funding the visit and other. So it's actually a one-day visit, and then where you can see some of these things that we're talking about in the portal. You can see them practically and then have a feel of them, and also even establish connection. Maybe from there you can start like internship or anything with the facilities, and then get to know more from that visit. So network is acting, or kindly share the announcement on the WhatsApp group. Didn't get all the details. So all right, thank you. So we're going to share the link to this session. We're recording it, and then we'll share the link so that for as many that did not get all of the things that have been shared here, you can go back and listen to the session and get the information. So once you finish a mode, okay, this is a contribution. All right, thank you so much. And yes, we are coming to the, I don't know, nobody asked any question around the portal usage. So I want to believe that everyone on this call, over 70 people on this call, are able to log into the portal successfully. Oh, there's one hand. Okay. Please, Mr. Ndemeke, I'm asking you to unmute and ask your question. Please, this is the last, and then we'll close for today.
Hello, sister.
Yes,
thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much for this good training, sister. I really appreciate the contribution from the last presenters who was explaining about the issue of theories and the practical. That's a big challenge in most of African countries. I thought maybe only in Tanzania. But to me, I just want to suggest one thing. Why don't you give one certificate to all modules instead of providing certificate to each module, so that when you're providing the certificate to each module, the people can carry the band of certificate. But I'm just suggesting that maybe you can provide one certificate which combine all modules which the people participated in trainings. It will be better than providing each module with each certificate. It's just my suggestion to you, my sister.
So you are asking us to give like 6 certificates for the 6 modules. Is that what you're asking us to do?
Single certificate to all modules instead of giving each module with each certificate.
Okay, so at the end of the day, since we have 6 modules, we have 6 certificates, right?
Why not providing one certificate?
And that's what we are doing. That's when you finish the modules from module 1 to module 6, you get 1 certificate. Now that's what the portal is like.
Okay, thank you, sister. I thought maybe you are providing after finishing each module and doing assessment. Okay,
no, when you finish the entire module, you get 1 certificate afterwards.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you very much, Ambassador G.I. Matutoye. I'm sorry we cannot take your question. Please send us an email or reach out to any of the admins in the WhatsApp group, where our time is fast spent already, and then we'll definitely respond to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your audience today. Our next week is our last live interactive session, and if you have questions or you have contributions or you have anything, please keep them, and then next week we'll answer all of them again. But then, if it's urgent, you have to reach out to us at the braze@afc.org or send any of the admins in the WhatsApp group a chat, and we will definitely respond to you. So thank you so much for being part of the live interactive session today, and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. My name is Patience Ibrahim, and do have a good evening, everyone. Thank you. Bye.